Mama. Snotty nugget. Mama. Oh, she blew a snot bubble. I love you, you gross little elf.
Hi guys, I realised I haven't really properly started the vlog today, but yeah, Perry's home today. He's not feeling particularly great. Yeah? Okay. Not sure what was going on there, but yeah, since we're moving this weekend, he thought it would be best for him to have like a rest day, but he's still working today at home though. He's got a bunch of phone calls and stuff to do, so that's fine. So I'm about to give Layla her breakfast. I just showed you the sleeve I was working on this morning. I finally did that, and I'll probably get the second one done today as well. Weave in the ends and block it. Okay, so I've almost finished the second sleeve for Layla's cardigan, and I wanted to show you a little trick that I do at the end after I've cut when I'm casting off. And I'm currently using the Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, which is my favourite for ribbing, and I don't find it flares at all when I do it, and it just gives a really nice sort of finish that I like. So I'm just going to do the last couple of stitches and then show you what I do. So you know sometimes, well not sometimes, when you cast off in the round, with whatever cast off you do, you always have this sort of disconnect. Let me get that to focus. Sorry about noisy Layla in the background. You kind of have this gap between the start of your cast off and where you finish. What I do, to avoid having to like messily, like sometimes when you're weaving in your ends it's a little bit messy when you get to that bit, but what I do is I finish casting off. Normally what you would do is like you would pull the yarn through at this point to finish the bind off. What I do is I go into the first bound off stitch at the beginning and pick up a stitch, and then pass the last bound off stitch over that, and then pull it out, and then that kind of just connects the end and the beginning of your bind off. It works a bit kind of, it's essentially it's a chain stitch, it's a crochet chain stitch, is what it's basically doing, but you just pick up a stitch, pass the bound off stitch over, and then that will give you a clean finish. So that's a nice way to, and it kind of covers the fact that there's a hole there, which will then be tightened up once you weave in the ends and you really won't see it. So just a little tip there for you. Her cardigan is now finished. All sleeves are done. Each sleeve took less than 2 hours to knit, so they were super quick. I started the second sleeve like not even 2 hours ago, and yeah, it's all done. And the first sleeve is done. I did the first sleeve this morning and second sleeve just now, and we're all done. And it's, what time is it? It is 11:15. So that's not bad. I started it at like what would have been around 6:30 this morning, I think, when I started working on it, or maybe about 6:15. I'm not sure. This is how much yarn I have left from the original 2 skeins I started it with. Now I did cut into my 3rd skein for doing the shawl collar because I wasn't sure I'd have enough, and I kind of wanted to see how it was going to knit up as. And you know, I probably could go back, rip it out and just finish, you know what, 2 skeins of Primrose Yarn Company's yarn on the Jasper DK probably would have been enough for this cardigan. I think I probably could have gotten the shawl collar out of this, but her skeins do have more yardage than normal for a DK weight. They are 247 yards per 100 grams. So I think more typical DK weights are more like 220 to 230 yards per 100 grams. So I feel like you probably would need a third skein if you had slightly less yardage than these skeins. So yeah, I'm gonna weave in the ends and then give it a good soak. One last thing I wanted to mention, and I do this all the time on my cardigans, and I know people ask about it, so I thought I'd mention. So when I pick up the stitches that I'd put on waste yarn, and once you've knit that first row, I go back and I add in a removable stitch marker or progress keeper into that first row. So this is the row of picked up stitches, and this is the first row I knit on the sleeve. So when a pattern says knit until X number of inches from the underarm, I don't then have to fiddle around with figuring out where the underarm is or measuring on a diagonal, because you usually have your decreases along the underarm area. So I can measure it from here, knowing that that's the exact spot where the sleeve started, and measure accordingly. And then I pop in stitch markers after every decrease. If we can get that, there we go. So you can see there's a decrease there, and I pop in a stitch marker after every decrease. So for one thing, it's easy to count how many decreases you've done, or I guess if you're knitting a sweater bottom up, increases. And then when you get to the last decrease, you can then see how many rows you've knit, or inches, or however you want to measure it, before starting the ribbing. So then when you come to do the second sleeve, you can follow the same thing that you did on the first one. And yeah, so since Perry's home, he's feeding Layla her lunch, and I'm gonna rustle up something for lunch for us. I kind of went through our fridge, and this is basically all we have left in the fridge other than food for tonight's dinner. So we've got some mince that needs to be used, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a kind of bolognese type thing, but it's kind of like a mishmash bolognese. So it's mince, onion, carrots, garlic. I had peas and broccoli in the freezer, so I pulled those out. Tomato sauce, or strained tomatoes, and spinach is basically going to be the sauce. And then I've also got some parsley flakes and turmeric to add to it. I add turmeric to everything I cook as well. Usually after I've added in onions and garlic, I'll throw in some turmeric. And we're going to have it rotini pasta and a little bit of cheese on top. Oh, and got a stock cube. I don't tend to season my food like a lot. I don't add a whole ton of salt to food, but I always add a stock cube, and I find that usually adds just enough salt to season it nicely.
My food. I'm hungry.
You've had your lunch, Nugget.
Just try it.
But that looks so much better.
Let's be real here. She wants the TV remote. No?
She's like, no, Daddy. She's like, I just want what you have.
You know, like, get off of my pasta. It's not cooked enough for her, is it?
It is.
Here you go. Do you want that? It's a caterpillar. Go on, eat the bug.
What are you doing there? Poor Derek thought he'd get a little bit more peace and quiet, but he decided he didn't want a nap, and now he's giving you the stink eye. No, Derek, it's okay.
It's like, no, it's not okay.
And this is how far I got on the mittens. So I just started the thumb gusset for the second glove mitten. You know what I mean. Hey guys, so it's been a while since I checked in, but yeah, Layla needs another nap and Harry's got a work call, so I couldn't really kick him out of our bedroom, so I thought I'd bring Layla out, get some fresh air, maybe she'll have a nap, and I figured we'd go for a walk to the park. And yeah, I'm wearing my Open Skies hat, which is one of my patterns, and my Road to Redback shawl. And Layla is hiding under the blanket. Babe. It's been a while since I've been at the park, and it's nice coming back after a while and seeing how it's changed, the changing seasons, with all the leaves that are falling, and it's nice. No hats. Yeah? Are you being silly? I know it's not been super chatty today, but I hope you enjoy it anyway. And I have a feeling the next couple of days are going to be a little bit like this. Not too much talk, but I'll try and get a bit of footage here and there. So yeah, I think I'm going to sign off here for the evening, to be honest. I don't think there's going to be much else going on. I've got to go pick up a couple of bits from the grocery store before I head home. Layla's just refusing to have a nap, so we're just going to roll with it. And yeah, I'm going to hopefully finish that mitten this evening. And that'll be another good job done. Finish the cardigan, finish the mittens, and then the socks are the only thing left on my needles. Alright, thanks for joining me today. I will see you guys again tomorrow.